Hey, I'd like to welcome you back to One Trail Live, where I get to talk about whatever I want to, and you just have to sit there and listen. But mostly it's going to be about e-bikes and camping. Uh, Jumping right into it, I would love to wait for people to kind of get in here, but I'm a ramble for a second. The winter time is coming, and I really didn't get to enjoy summer that much, so I'm a little upset. And I know that there are a ton of people out there that feel exactly the same way that I do. And hopefully, the winter is mild, but I still want a lot of snow as well. I'm kind of weird that way. So I bought some new boots. We talked about that last week. I bought some new boots. I really want to uh try those boots out so I can give the best review that I can. They are the Lake 304s. They are the updated model of the 303s. Uh-oh. So that's where I'm at as far as really dealing with the anxieties of the weather changing. Although uh this fall is like my favorite time of the year. Fall and spring, favorite time of the year to go camping because there's less bugs around this time of the year. Yep, yep, less bugs, and I love it that way. Last week the stream was a little rough, but this week I think we're going to be okay. There's things that I've noticed that have changed. Last year there were a lot of people making, well, I'm pretty sure there still is, but there were a ton of people making fun of e-bikers. Now you have a big e-biking boom, and I know it's a big e-biking boom because my insurance company, car insurance company, sent me a letter, not just me, pretty sure it went out to the whole world, but this letter asked, "It's an e-bike right for you?" Times are changing, and the the concerning thing to me about e-bikes, and I never thought I would really say it, or I guess have to come to just the reality of it, is that there are a lot of older people riding e-bikes, and some of these folks haven't ridden bikes in a very long time, and they hop on these things, and a lot of them they don't even for I'm a younger person, not the youngest person, but I'm a younger person, and it took, a few hours or a day or two to get used to the pedal assist versus the throttle and changing the gears and finding that proper balance of where you need to be. If you're watching this, you want to know where you should start when you get your e-bike. Start it off on Gear 3 Pedal Assist 3. That's a great happy medium for you to start at to get to learn how to do it. In fact, I would start it off, yeah, Gear 3 is pretty good. And maybe start it off at Pedal Assist too, just so you'll know how it's going to react. Basically, what's happening to a lot of folks, they have the pedal assist up too high, the power is going to the drivetrain, and they hit a slick spot, or something jumps out in front of them, or they haven't ridden in a while, so they're not as sturdy on the bike as they used to be, and they hit something, they fall off, and they scrape themselves up. I've seen so many pictures of older people that have tore themselves up because of riding e-bikes and the bike getting away from them. They can't convince me otherwise. Um, I mean, there, of course, yes, they can hit a slick spot, or you can hit a slick spot. We can hit a slick spot and wipe out. That's the thing. Mostly, though, one of the biggest things that I have seen, they're hitting the curbs. They did ride too fast when it was wet out. They hit mud. I mean, but one of the biggest things that I have learned, I mean, you putting power to that back wheel. When it starts to spin, it starts to spin. That is one of the gifts and curse to riding clipless pedals. Segue into that. I love clipless pedals. It makes me feel more connected to the bike. I bought hybrid pedals because I know that there are going to be times when I'm going to need to ride the flat side, especially when I'm riding in very rough terrain. Uh, I was out at Quiver River. I should have rolled in a video for this, but I was in Quiver River and I was riding the trail. It's the Black Hawk Point Trail, and there are a few spots that have some very large rocks. Well, there's yeah, it can be kind of it can be kind of tough. And I accidentally just ended up on the wrong trail a couple times that isn't suitable for mountain biking at all. That was my fault. I didn't that trip was so bad. I lost my GPS on that trip. That video is coming soon. It's rather long, and I'm trying to figure out how to break it up. It's mostly is trail riding, but it's just showing the park in all of its beauty. Clipless pedals saved me in this situation. The hybrid pedals allowed me to ride clipped in when I knew it was safer, and to ride the flat side when I knew that I would possibly have to dump the bike, especially on this one part where it was the trail was very thin, rocky, and there was a 50 to 100 foot, well, 75 to 100 foot drop off. Uh, you know, yes, I mind falling. I mind even more if I'm still connected to the bike. So there's that. Hey, how you guys doing? Hey, Evolutionary Tom. Hey, Chris I. How you guys doing this evening? I'm glad you joined me. Hope the sound in the video is better this week. Yes, yeah. The throttle is a dangerous thing. I had to learn. One thing that I love about the Red Rover and its throttle is that it has a cutoff. Now, I'm not familiar with Juice Bike. Fill me in on that. But you can disable the throttle when you don't want to use it. Yeah, Chris, I felt that I needed to do something different, try to revitalize myself and keep myself motivated. And this is kind of fun. The podcasts were great. I can sit there and kind of edit it up. This, you kind of get what you get. Now with the podcast, I didn't really cut out a whole lot. It was sort of scripted, but mostly raw. This one, since I'm talking to you all, I have to come off script a little bit. So I just basically have a bunch of topics that I'm going to babble about. I'm not sure when everyone jumped in, what you caught and what you didn't, but I was basically, you know, recapping on my insurance company sent me a letter. I'm pretty not. I keep saying just me, like I'm the only person in the world that matters. I am, by the way. It's all about me. All about me. Giving my roses while I'm still alive. But no, my insurance company sent out letters to all of their policyholders to ask them, do they think that e-bikes are right for them? Um, Crazy how the boom has really gotten a lot of people, and the overall bad view of e-bikes have slowly started coming down. Uh, they're slowly starting to coming down and becoming widely more accepted rapidly, and I do appreciate that. I'm just waiting on my insurance company to tell me that if I want to, I'm waiting for the states to start saying if you want to ride e-bikes, they have to have some sort of insurance on it. Trust me, it's coming. It is coming. There are too many coming out. There are too many people getting hurt on them, and there's still a lot of people complaining. There are still places that don't want them in their parks. So eventually, with everything America, the government will eventually step in and say, we have to regulate these things. They already do to a point, uh, but a lot of people don't know that. Well, a lot of people don't care. Um, the fastest bike you can ride is a class 2 bike, which only tops out at 20 miles an hour. So for those of you out there that modified your rads, or just mess with the throttles and mess with the computer to get a little extra juice out of it, when you ride it on the street, we're not talking about trails, when you ride it on the street, you're actually breaking the law. I'm just throwing it out there, so plead ignorance if you want. But class 3 bikes aren't allowed on the street. Places in Europe don't even allow the bikes to go 20 miles an hour, and you have to have license plates. Uh, well, the shoes aren't the. So it's the pedals or the hybrid pedals. So you have it's basically a flat pedal, but it's a Shimano shoe. It's a Shimano what the heck? I can't even think of the name of the clip. Let me show you what I have. So this little clip here goes and it attaches to the pedal, but the pedal also has a side that does not have anything, so I could just ride flat on it. So when I need to dump the bike, I'm not attached to it. The reason why I went with that pedal wasn't because I ever thought that I would get on ride the bike on trails. It was actually because there are a few bridges when I go to parks. There are a few bridges that I go to. Though I am not scared of snakes, if one snake should happen to drop out a tree on me, not sure how I'm going to react to that. But I know that if I should topple over on my bike, um, being stuck to a bike that weighs 70 pounds and being drugged down by that scares the living bejeebas out of me. Golf shoes? So, Chris, and try not necessarily a pair of shoes that clip to the pedals, but if you invest just one time in a pair of shoes that was made for riding bikes, there is a big difference with pedal response because the sole is stiff. I would not want to walk miles in this shoe. It doesn't bend. So it allows all of your power to this point to the pedal. And you are going to get max. So they've done studies that say that there is no real difference in between, if you have the right shoes, there's no difference in between clipless pedals and regular flats. Um, I don't know if that to be true or not. I know that I have ridden in some very rocky terrain and being clipped into the pedals, my feet didn't pop off the pedals. I didn't worry about pedal slip or slipping off the pedals and getting that thing jammed into my shins. Since I have had these pedals, I have had 0 times where the pedals have hit my shins. The shoes will get attached to the pedals. They clip in when need be. I'll do a video on that. I'll do a video on that. Have you guys been kind of monitoring the web and seeing different people being putting up their war wounds of them riding a bike? I don't know really what to call it. Their scars of glory. Um, I think personally, if I put up a video that says, "Hey, I've been riding my Rad Rover for 3 days and I've already fallen off of it," I don't think that's a very good promotion for the company personally. So, so the toe cages those were the clip pedals. So the clipless pedals, they stopped riding the cages because you couldn't get out of them fast enough. They caused a lot of a they led to a lot of injuries. So they came up decades ago with these clipless pedals and clipless shoes and things of that nature. So that and these clips right here they have many different varieties of types of pedals and clips. So the ones that I use usually fit the type of shoes that I want. They have street riding shoes, which have there's what at least two more other types of clips that you can roll with, and pedal styles. Um, Shimano isn't cheap though, but they're not. They're great for what I want to do, but if I was going for performance riding, these aren't the clips that clipless pedals and setup that I would run with. You haven't seen any crash damage yet. It may come around. Are you big? Do you, besides YouTube, are you on any other social media platforms? Cause I've been following a lot of like e-bike yeah, basically e-bike forums and just different groups, and people post their pictures of them, after they done wiped out. Yeah, you're absolutely right. The reason that the cages and the clips it's the same. It's just the clipless system is safer than the cages. That's it. It's the same principle. One is just safer. and you're not missing anything if you're not on social media. It's kind of depressing. So you're not missing much on social media. Another thing that I often that I am starting to love, there are more e-bike stores popping up, which means that there are more places where I can take my bike to have maintenance done to it. I my rad, I don't I'm trying to choose the words carefully here. Since I don't always ride it in the proper conditions and I take it out to the backcountry, I'm hitting trails that is not really made for. I've the weight of me bike and hub with those shorter spokes on the hub motor, the back wheel, I have had to have some spokes replaced on it. Um, that's so far I haven't, besides all the mods that I have done, I haven't had anything besides the spoke issue happen. But I won't say that's anything of the rad or the product. Spokes break all the time. How was the audio out there, everyone? Did you all see the opening screen for you? The spokes are breaking because of weight, just weight. I'm pretty sure coming off of some of those medium jumps that I've been doing, could be landing wrong. Something I could have scraped a rock. I mean, I get all sorts of pedal strikes. This bike is pedal strike bound. Yep, the pedal strikes are notorious, man. I'm eventually gonna have to do some work there. The under part of it I haven't really had any issues with, but man, the pedals seem a little lower. Um and it's about time for me really I'm thinking it's about time for me to find another bike. But the red will always be great, but I want a downhill mountain bike. I actually want one that has one purpose, and the days where I just want to go and take it to a bike park, that's the bike I wanna take out. No, man, I can't lean into all of it. It's I can't like some of the stuff I can't avoid. Some of the stuff you just can't avoid. Even when I had my pedals level, I was still catching. It was this trail was not this trail that I was on. This section of it was not suitable for mountain bikes. Period. There was no way um I wasn't going to hit something or something goes wrong. But it was fun. I regret nothing. But that's just a part of the game. So here's one of the biggest things I want everyone to know about me. Um, though I love the stuff that I buy, but I don't baby the stuff that I buy. Um, I want my brother. My brother, I don't know how old I was. I was young, extremely young. He gets this really good job and he buys a sports car, and it's a really nice car. And I say, hey, if that was me, I would not drive the car. I would just put it in the garage and leave it be. He looked at me and said, well, you take all of that time trying to take care of it, and then the second you back it out of the garage, boom, you get hit by a mail truck. And in the point of it was you took all that time to baby it and you never got the time to enjoy it. I mean, I'm not a big resale guy, so I'm really not worried about the damage that I do to the bike or what it's going to be worth in the future. I mean, realistically, realistically, if people really get out there and ride the bike, you're going to end up changing the parts on them anyway because the things are going to wear out, things are going to break. That's just a part of the maintenance on it. So finding a Gen 1 Red Rover pristine with all the original parts on it, unless that person bought it and put it up because it was an impulse buy and they really never had any real motivation to ride it, those bikes have thousands of miles on them by now, if they're even still rolling. Thousands of miles by now. And people have changed out so many things on them. So many things. So were you guys able to catch the the very beginning of the show? Oh, you missed the very beginning. Sorry about that. I was gonna wait a little while to let everyone kind of join in there, but I felt that I should just jump right into it so you guys can hear the ramblings of a madman. Um, but there's a lot of things bike wise that I am ready to explore. Two things that are developing, not really in my world, but just in general, what I'm seeing right now. I think that the e-bike business industry movement uh, i- is going to go. I think this holiday season, I think, don't quote me, but I think, my opinion, I think that there is going to be a great sale across the board when it comes down to e-bikes. I think it's going to be a great deal. I think there won't. I don't see malls being super packed. I see that there's going to be a lot of cyber sales, more than we saw last year. I think that I think this will be a great e-bike investment season. So if you are, or if you are thinking about jumping into a bike, if you're thinking about getting into a bike, um, that's just something that I think it's going to happen. So, one of the things that has saved me a few times on the trail is my bike pump. Every now and again, people ask me questions. Excuse me. People ask me questions. Do I prefer CO2 or hand pump? Honestly, I prefer them both. Both of them have uh, uh, it has pros and cons. Um, but before we get into the pros and cons, let's check this out, and then we'll jump back into it. Earlier, I deflated the tire so I could ride through sand. Well, I'm done sand riding right now, and I am going to demonstrate how to use the Briskmore tire inflator. It's a CO2 tire pump. For this fat bike tire, I use 25 gram. I use the 25-gram ones. They make it easier. The biggest thing about this is you want to make sure that this bad boy is locked. That's your bottom, where your tube slides into. That punctures it. Just make sure that it's still locked. And I am going to do the majority of this on this side of it. Where is my boonie? Put my boonie down so I can put my knee on something. Okay, so this is really straightforward on how this rolls. Screw it on. So in order to not cross thread it, I like to back spin it first and then you spin it the correct way. That way it kind of makes sure you don't cross thread it. That's just been my thing. Now, you want to crack this open. Now, we knew that this was at about 4 PSI. So I'm gonna crack it open so I can get a grip on it. Can't really grip it from this side, from this spoke side. Okay, so then you open it up and I back off the tube a little bit. Now be careful, because this thing does get cool. And you can hear it shooting in. Now, that, sir, too big. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, gets a little frozen on there for a second. You get that right off. Then you need your tool to check the pressure. 13 PSI. 13 PSI. This cartridge is pretty much spent. I could probably get a little bit out of it, but really not enough to do the front, to do the back. But I am going to do what I can to get it back out. But this is the Briskmore inflator. for your tires. 25 milligrams work best for the fat tires. You're still gonna need 2, but you'll need like 3 to 4 if you were dealing with the 16 grams. So be aware of that. Also, for fine tuning purposes, keep a pump on your bike. That is not to pump, inflate the whole tire unless you are out of these, but that is to fine tune it once you get it going. So that's the pump that I have been riding with for, past 2 years now. Interesting fact, CO2 is quick. As you can see, it will frost up on you quick as well. The downside to it is that that air isn't everlasting. So, say you fill your tire up at noon. By noon the next day, or check it in the morning, depending on what the weather situation is, you're going to need to use your regular pump to get to regulate your pressure, because that CO2 is just going to go with the wind, literally. So don't expect for that to be the end all be all. That is, you are on the trail, you're on your way home, or you're riding home, and you need to get your tire patched and inflated. It's cold out, possibly raining, whatever the situation is. That's what you would use to, in an emergency, in a pinch, get you home. It is not a replacement for having a regular air pump for the reasons that I mentioned. And Chris, I do understand for the first few months that I had the bike, I did ride it a lot. Then I slowly started to not wanting to ride it because it was getting more attention than I wanted. And that was because it wasn't because people just saw right off the bat that it was a electric bike. They saw the wheels first, those, sporty fat tires that you can see literally from a mile away. I had the I had someone, this guy, I was in one of the parks. I had my drone up and I was riding the bike. I was filming. It's one of the videos that I have up, and I had the drone going, and there was a person. After I crashed the drone. So after I recovered it, put it up, a guy finally caught up with me, and he was like, "I thought you were on the ATV. I called the Rangers on you." I was like, "Yeah, I'm out." Even though I wasn't doing anything illegal, it's just like, yeah, I don't, I just don't want to have that conversation with anyone. But I do understand how it feels to kind of slightly lose interest in riding the bike, but you have to make it fun. Um, do not get out of your head. Get out of your head with saying there's not enough safe places to ride. Well, find your safe place to ride and continuously ride it. Don't let the world kill your joy when it comes down to that, man. Just ride. If you watch my videos, I play in traffic the whole nine. Not the smartest thing to do, but I like living on the edge. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that I used to have a grocery store close to my house that was, like a mile or two away that I could ride to get groceries. But it closed down and I have been in limbo. Well, now I just ride my bike to the different parks that are about 3 miles each direction. That's usually what I do now. Or I'm a big fan of packing my bike up and going to different locations to just have fun with that. Other things that I'm thinking that's going to be exciting for next year. I think there will be more safer places to ride. I think that there is going to be not just talking about e-bikes, but bike sales overall. I think in time that parks are going to do more to accommodate bikes. I know that there are a lot of places now that do, but uh, Quiver River, that's in Troy. Well, I think it's in Troy. If it's not, it's in a neighboring county. But uh, Quiver River has a trail called the Black Hawk Point. I had been going out to Quiver River. Quiver River is the park that I cut my teeth solo hiking. I go to that park a lot. I like this park. It's semi quiet. It's kind of close to things, so you do have a lot of people coming into it, and you run across people more often. But the trails are easy. They're easy to hike. They're some of them are rough, but I mean overall, you can find some good trails that aren't bad. And if you have horses, they have equestrian trails. But they have the Black Hawk Point that I didn't know existed. Now, this trail is a mountain bike trail, but you can still walk on it. Part of it touches the equestrian trail. Um, but there are a lot of parks in Missouri. There's probably a lot of parks in your neck of the woods that you could take your bike to and really enjoy it. So when it's all said and done, and Chris, if you're afraid, things that I realized that I need, and I was going to deflect it and throw it on you, but in reality, it's me. The only real safety equipment that I have is high vis clothes and a helmet. The last time I was out, I realized that I need more safety equipment. I need to get myself some knee pads and some elbow pads. That is at the top of my list for Christmas. And today was Prime Day. I should have been checking the Prime deals for the last hours to see if I can find uh, some knee pads and stuff. I really probably should have been looking for that stuff. Um, because, you know, safety first. Uh, I forgot my gloves, and I have several pairs of gloves, but I forgot my gloves in the car, And I figured, hey, this isn't going to be so bad. It's not cold. I'm not going to turn around and get him. Some of the trails weren't maintained. Well, I ended up on trails that weren't suitable for bikes. Therefore, I came up on brush very fast. And it was different vines with thorns on them and things like that. And I ended up getting my hands cut up pretty good. That was a good time. I realized that I do a lot of stupid things. The e-bike has emboldened me to do stupid stuff. It really has. I'm emboldened to do stupid stuff on a regular basis, such as not turning around to get safety equipment and riding trails that's not suitable to be ridden on. But my brakes performed great. I didn't feel uncomfortable on those trails. I almost broke my neck though, but that wasn't because of the trail. That wasn't because of the brakes or the bike. That was just that trail. I will say this, and I doubt I'll get any flack for it. Fat bikes, that's not for enduro downhill, man. I was a little worried because I was hitting it pretty good at times, but man, that bike bounces around like none other. And that's how I almost broke my neck. So overall, guys, it things that I want you to take away from this live show is that we're all getting older and we have to take care of ourselves and make sure that we get the proper safety equipment and not get too comfortable with our surroundings and the bike and push it past its limits and ours. Other things that I want to really enforce is don't be afraid to ride your bikes. Don't be afraid don't be afraid to ride your bikes. Get out and enjoy it. Don't baby it. You know, the biggest thing is that battery isn't going to last forever. You know, eventually they're going to change batteries on it again. So you're going to have to get aftermarket A, B, and C's. So don't even ride that bike, man. And when that bike is beat up and 20 years down the road, Rad is still around with their, 50th model or something. And you could just say, hey, I was there when you guys were very, very small. And that's what you guys can live up to. So that's really that's how we're going to wrap this up today. I really enjoy kicking it with you guys and doing the back and forth. I hope you enjoyed the show. I will see you next time, same time next week. Live life one trail at a time. See ya.